Wow. Greetings to you, sister. Greetings and welcome. You got here early, I see.
Yes, sir. I've been waiting. How are you?
I am well, thank you. And yourself?
Very good. Very good. Thank you
Excellent.
very kindly. Yes.
I'm going to mute and run around, but while we allow people to get in and get settled, and then we'll get started. Welcome again.
Perfect. Thank you.
Greetings, Brother PV. How are you, my lord?
Man, I'm doing great. I'm doing real good. Are we the only ones in here right now?
Right now, and Sister Danny Claiborne.
Oh, okay. Well, anxiously awaiting because I got some holdouts that want to join, but they have some apprehension because of the distance and there's just lack of courage.
The distance to Africa, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The investment prospect in Africa.
Yeah.
And just not being able to get past the threshold of fear. That's what I call it.
Right. And so this is all being recorded. So, to a certain extent, you gotta expect this, right? So I saw a sister whom I love, on Facebook just moments ago share screen prints of a conversation where this brother in Africa had engaged her and was quite polite and was very nice. And after a few moments of conversation, it went straight into, okay, so I'm in dire straits and I need you to send me money. And here's how you send it to me. And I've had people that have engaged me and, again, very pleasant, very nice, and very quickly went into, okay, I'm going to create a blessing for you to remove all evil elements in your life. And I need you to send me money at this. So there is perception related to not only doing business in Africa, but also doing business with ourselves and each other.
Yeah.
There is reality associated with doing business in Africa as well as doing business with each other.
Right.
And at the end of the day, the goal is to see those perceptions, see those reality, and raise them integrity, right? I see that. I recognize that there has been difficulty in relation to doing business in Africa. There's been great difficulty, especially for us, but it's not restricted to us. I know of a group of people, so I know a few horror stories. I know of a group of people, however, that went over to Africa to do business. They legitimately, so in order to purchase like resources, gold, diamonds, in order to do these things, it's a very specific process that has to happen. And so anybody can walk up to you and they can show you a bar of gold. They can show you diamonds. They can show you emeralds. Anybody can do that. The question isn't whether or not it's there. The question is whether or not you can do anything with it. And in order to be able to do something with it, you have to have very strict paperwork that speaks to exactly the mine that came from, who was the owner of that mine, that you have legal authorization to be able to sell that mineral or element from that mine, that is recognized and registered within that country. And from that place, somebody makes the intention to buy the element, and they say, okay, they go to a central holding, right? So Brinks, for instance, there's a few other outfits. And what they'll do is they'll say, okay, my money is in central holding. Here's a receipt to validate that. And this third party holding facility says, okay, you brought $20 million here. We're holding 20 million US dollars in your name. That's your money. They give you the receipt. And then the seller will then take and put their money into that same third party facility. And that third party facility will assay the asset. They will weigh the asset. They will evaluate the asset, and they'll say, okay, I certify that I received from this party this amount of this thing with this value and so forth. And then the two parties agree that the transaction is going to happen, and they agree in tandem to release the assets to each party, and they exchange those assets. Okay, so I'm aware of people that went into Africa, legitimately went through all of those processes, claimed the asset, had it loaded onto their plane, went to take off, and was stopped on the tarmac by the military. Military went on board and said, you didn't have a right to do that. Took it all, everything. And they walked away from the country with nothing. So it is not, I'll just kind of restate. I see some others join. Welcome, everyone. I'll just kind of restate. There's a lot of apprehension as it relates to doing business legitimately in Africa. And some of that apprehension is based on perception. Some of it is based on reality. And it is a fact. It was a fact that Marcus Garvey had to deal with. It was a fact and factor in Malcolm X's work. It has and always will be a factor. What I think we have done, and again, it was done with a reasonable level of intelligence. If you stop and look back at everything that we've done or we've financed rather small projects, $5,000 projects. And again, people have heard this logic before. The reason that we did it in $5,000 project sizes is because if anything ever went wrong, if for any reason, so in every country and everywhere that we ever send any money, we already have paperwork in that country that has my name and the executive board members' names in conjunction with the executive director's name filed as a legal entity in those countries. So this gives us legal recourse anywhere we go, right? But then furthermore, the next kind of POC is that we'll finance a project, and we finance that project in, generally speaking, at about $5,000, right? The logic behind $5,000 is if something goes wrong, while we have legal recourse and we could litigate if needs be, the fact that it's $5,000 means that I can cover that. So if all of our members invested in a given thing and we put in money and it totaled $5,000 and it went sideways and everybody said, oh, you know what? This is no good. I don't like this. At $5,000, I can cover that and it ain't gonna kill me, right? And so that's why we deploy models in such a small proof of concept. It makes sense, right? It makes sense. So we can do that proof of concept. We can test those waters. We can validate the trust between the continental African and the African and the diaspora. And once we can validate those things, in my mind, you push forward full speed ahead.
I'm with it. I understand the concept. I went to school for it. I mean, this is like actually putting into action what I learned. You've already done the paperwork, which is the hard part. Now, after so many years of being bamboozled every which way, left, right, forward, back, up and down, all around, these people really are skittish. And I got it. I get it. And so, again, I put my neck on the line. I put my money on the line first. I go in, I test it, and then, you know, things work out. I come back and say, okay, man, or sis, or bruh, it works. It's good to go. Now they want to see, like you was telling me before, they want to see the books. They want to see the paperwork. Yeah. And they want to see the money.
Yeah, everybody does. And you cannot imagine. So you all each have access to the executive directors, right? Okay. And I encourage you to reach out and ask them questions about dealing with me, right? Because all of you interact with me in a given way, right? We interact as members. None of you really work for me. Right? And so because of that, it's a slightly different relationship. You haven't had me give you direction in relation to anything. Well, I encourage you to ask those who have worked with me what kind of a seventh level of hell it is. Because at the end of the day, there's only one thing, right? Results. I am never, ever going to ask or expect of anyone anything other than what they said they could do. If you said you could do it, however, I'm going to hold you to the letter.
Absolutely.
I'm going to hold myself to the letter. Right? And so with that in mind, the executive directors have been, you know, what they want to do. And I'm going to step back. And I'm going to further explain why this model works, right? The reason this works is because where we're talking about our executive directors in the various areas that they are, right? This capacity that they have in these various areas has always been. This land didn't pop up, right? These people's skills didn't just manifest. They're farmers. They've been farmers forever. That land has been there forever. The lacking component was their ability to do anything with it. They haven't been able to find financing. They go to the government and the government is corrupt. The government says, yeah, I know you need food, right? Whatever. Let's give you relief versus giving you a share, right? And so it pushes forward, and you have millions upon millions of hardworking Africans that want to work, that want to change their fate, that don't have the capacity to be able to do so. So why will the Ledge Group work? Why does it work? Why is it so successful in kind of creating these relationships? It is because we are providing to our brothers and sisters capacity to to save their own lives. This isn't, it's not like they, in Rumarudi, where we were on our land, if you go stand there and spin 360 degrees, you won't see a single structure anywhere around. If this doesn't work, when the drought hit in Kenya, the people that had been working that land were counting on the food, on the revenue. They were counting on it. They were staking their lives on it. They were working day in, day out in order to ensure that they were going to have this payday in the future. And then the drought hit. Guess what happened? Man, them farmers were in dire straits. It was awful. It was absolutely awful for them. They still needed to survive. They still had to pay their rent. They still had to do these things, right? And so we augmented that. We brought that forward. But so that is to say that when we look at these projects that we start up, right? The same way that you and I are here in America and saying, yo, you know what? This is life or death. This isn't a game.
Right.
I don't have an option. I can't go back. What am I going to do? We don't have an option, right? Yeah. So for us here on this side, it's life or death, man. It's not a joke. And for them in Africa, guess what? It is life or death. It is not a joke. They are fully invested. Chelemu will not fail. Why? Because he can't. He can't. Kiama will not fail. You know why? Because he can't. What other option does he have? You see? Magomu will not fail. Why? Because what other option does he have? So we have created something. We've created something where we have tied the
needs,
the stakes.
Yeah.
We've tied the stakes of two people. The stakes for us is life or death. The stakes for them is life or death. We have tied those stakes together. We've tied them together.
Our futures are the same.
There ain't no chance we fail. I heard somebody else was in conversation with somebody, an elder, and they said, you're cheating the African. And my response, I didn't get a chance to get in the conversation because man, this is why I do this Q&A, because I want everybody to have access. I want you to ask those questions, ask the hard ones, ask what's on your mind, because I want to be able to, and furthermore, not only do I want you to ask them, I want you to see my face as I answer them. Because it's very clear. If that elder said you're cheating the African, well, you tell me in the history of commerce where France, Spain, Portugal, Italy, Germany, US, UK, Netherlands, where anybody has offered the African a share, has offered them 50-50. See, we're not taking their lands, right? We're not taking nobody's land. What we're doing is we are partnering with them. We're putting, so we just recently finished the financing on the chicken farming in Nigeria.
Missed that one.
Hey, good show. That was fast open, fast close, excellent. We're in the chicken farming business in Nigeria. So that land that we're going to do farming of the chicken on, we ain't never going to own that. That's their land. We're not paying for that land. We're not renting or leasing that land. That's their land. Guess what? In 100 years from now, it'll be their land. In 1,000 years from now, it'll be their land. What we want to do is we want to partner with them. It's been their land. They haven't been able to do nothing with it. We'll partner with them. We'll put something on that land. And the profits from what we put on that land, we will share in perpetuity, period. They will always have a business. That will always be their business. That will be their family's livelihood. And it will also lift the African and the diaspora from their condition at the same time. It just makes sense.
It really does.
These are breadcrumbs that have been dropped by those before us. This is why, who's in the room? We're trying to do the marketing material for the conference coming up, and for the love of God, they want to put my face on there. I'm not the face of this. I don't want to be the face of this. This is Ubuntu. When you see a picture of me, I don't want it to be just a picture of me. I want it to be a picture of us all. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the only way that this works. It works by way of skimming away, right? With what we're doing with the African directors, right? What we have done is we've never had a conversation about religion. We've never had a conversation about beliefs. We have never had a conversation as it relates to politics or interpersonal relationships. I haven't spoken to my executive directors on that level about anything. You know why? That don't matter. What matters here is that we have a common need. We have a common stakes, life or death. With that in mind, what can you do? I can farm. Shit. Well, we can finance that farm. We can take a piece of that. Fine. 50-50, let's eat. Let's all eat. So if you can find any deal, either in common era or prior, where anybody has offered the African 50-50, where they have offered them a share in what was being done. If you can find that anywhere in history from any people, I challenge you, I dare you, it has never happened. It has never happened. So, again, preview to that conversation, I heard, somebody say that this elder was saying that, just because you get to be 60 years old, cowards live. Cowards survive, I'm saying, I hate to put it like that, but, rats and cowards make it sometimes, you know what I mean? Just because you get to be 60, 65 years old don't make you an elder. You could be a fool too. You see, You could be an old fool.
Yeah.
That's true, Peter. That's why I didn't go back and forth to do. That's why I said, I'm the one who you're talking about. I read a little the conversation, and this guy's going in about everything capitalism is evil. Okay, I understand that. We could debate that. We could try to do what we can to get rid of it, but don't act like we can't. We don't exist in it right now. Sure. And if you're that old, why are you doing nothing to make any change? We're here doing something tangible. I showed him the video about the ledge. You want to complain about that too? Talk about ripping the Africans off, and it's still capitalism. It's still bad. What you've been doing there? What's your solution? I try. I don't.
It's been a long life, right, and a short one at the same time. And I've come to a place where I tend to try it on, and I tend to kind of think about it from the perspective where it's coming from, and all of us are afflicted, 100%. If one of us thinks we're brand new and we don't bear the scars of our common experiences over the last 20 generations, we're fooling ourselves. Every single one of us bears those scars. The manifestation of those scars are different in us all. Where, so the elders, and every one of us are skeptical. We are in an uncomfortable place. Capitalism is going to fall. Rome is going to fall. This is not a natural condition. A lot of us have resigned. If you look through your time lines, look, a lot of us have resigned to the idea that absent someone providing us food, clothing, shelter, water, healthcare, and security, there is nothing else. A lot of us have resigned to the idea that master is always going to be there to provide for us. A lot of the plans that you see, a lot of the nation building efforts, I'm not knocking anybody. What I'm doing is I'm saying we have to inject critical thought. If your nation building effort simply assumes that you're going to build on what they have, what happens when they decide they want to take theirs down? Yours falls. You've built on sand. You can't build in any way, shape, or form anything that will exist in longevity within the camp of your enemy. You're hoping that they allow it to flourish. And that hasn't gotten us very far. You can't find a lamp post, signpost, or fence post in America standing, built by the hands of Africans to benefit Africans in the last 400 years. Not one. Not one. So insanity is doing the same thing and expecting different results. You can't build in the camp of your enemy. So while I agree, capitalism, I don't like capitalism. Capitalism does not have any morality. Capitalism, if capitalism was good, then slavery was the crowning jewel in its tenets, right? Because slavery was the perfect example of capitalism. It is to buy low and to sell high. They stole humans for free. And from those humans, they bred millions and millions and created a workforce, created an economy strong enough for hundreds of millions of European immigrants to come poor, tired, huddled masses with nothing but shirts on their back and find economies that could accommodate them. This was very valuable. This was very valuable, right? So if capitalism is good, then slavery is its crowning achievement. It is the best example of capitalism. It has no morality. It does not care if it has to crush babies in order to be able to turn a dollar. Capitalism is what is, it's been the handmaiden to colonization. And so eventually it's going to fall. Rome will fall. The entire logic behind what we've done here at the Ledge Group, and I say this on a regular basis for people to kind of understand it, is find yourself standing in Tanzania, Africa. And while you're standing there, to the south of you will be chickens, rice, peppers, and other crops. To your east, you will find Kiama and 53,000 acres of east, west. East, yes. Kiama and 53,000 acres of land growing everything. To your north, you will find Zambia, you will find Uganda, you will find Nigeria, you will find food and those things that will keep you alive. So what that does is, again, for that individual standing in Tanzania, what happens is, even if the primary economies should fall and currency should fall, guess what happens? You still got chickens. You still got everything that you need to be able to exist. Furthermore, we just dug wells. Those wells will produce water. So those things that you need to survive, absent the global economies, are in place today.
Question.
In place. Yes.
So we're online for the crops to come in 4 months now, because from what I've been reading on the post, that the wells have a pump now.
Boom.
So Kenya should be online with their crops at this time.
Man, so first of all, y'all want me to just jump into updates? Okay, so I'll run through updates, right? Yeah, so everybody, when you came in, your microphone was muted. I applied some intelligence just so that we didn't listen to everything. And you can unmute your microphones and ask a question anytime. All right. So I'm just going to quickly run through the updates, where we are, what the expectation is. And then, again, this is y'all's time. So ask me any questions, like that. Okay. So Zambia. I don't know why I started with Zambia. I think because, well, and I mean, there ain't no way for me to tell you that one is more busy than another. But I will say, Chalemu has had a rough couple of weeks. Y'all show that brother some love. So he's been on the road to collect our hardware far longer than we anticipated. If you look back at when, I think I posted something about the day he was leaving. He'd been gone 2.5, 3 weeks to go get the brick maker. Okay. What that means is that he's there trying to secure space on the train to get the brick maker into Kulima, right? And so every day that he's waiting for space on the train, he's paying for. He's got to eat. He don't live there, right? He's got to eat. He's got to pay for his lodging. And so every day that he's there trying to get space, he has less and less money to get the equipment shipped back, right? Okay. He reaches out last week, and dude is like, yo, he is so exhausted. My dude is like, yo, I got a problem, man. Yo, he's like, yo, I got a problem, man. Look, I'm short. I got a slot on the train. I'm short. I got to pay this. If we don't pay this right now, tomorrow, it's going to be more because I got to stay. Right?
Right.
I'm like, oh, okay. So again, the wife and I call her up, baby, God damn it. This is what it is. What you got? All right, this is what I got. Let's get it sent over. We get it sent over. He gets it done. He's on this train. He's on the train from Dar es Salaam now. They're rolling. And so he's going to land in Kulima with the hardware on Monday. Okay. And so while in the most ideal world, come Monday, we would be able to send our executive director off for a week of sun and fun in Africa, right? But the fact is that we're harvesting right now. He has teams that are overseeing the growth, and we're at harvest time. So my guess is that Brother Chalemu is not going to go home to fun and sun in sunny Africa and chill, but he will be at the farms overseeing the harvesting process and what's going on there. Expectation is that we are harvesting and dispersals happen in early February. Now, bearing in mind where we talk about the expenditures that we're making in, and this is something that I wanted to speak to, the expenditures that you're making in Zambia, in Uganda, and where you're financing different projects, I don't necessarily have visibility into, so you're sending directly to those executive directors after they've been vetted, right?
Yes.
So I don't necessarily see that you have financed something. When I'll go out and tell you about a given project, and I don't have visibility into whether or not that's been funded, or, you know what I'm saying? So it would be helpful if you fund anything, send me an email. Shoot me an email to pbrown@theledgegroup.com so I'm aware as well. Okay, so I'm always aware of any funds that are moving. I said that to say I don't know who is invested in Zambia, but those, and I don't know at what time intervals. But the expectation is early February, we should see dispersals of people's investments in Zambia. Okay?
Excellent.
Furthermore, to add a little cherry on top, those members who have purchased land in Zambia, please understand why we have gone through as much as we have in getting that brick maker. First of all, we have 2 forges in close proximity to our land in Colima. A forge is very important in the name of producing tools, nails, swords, etc. And so that brick making machine, we can possibly reverse engineer and fabricate our own. So we needed 1, right? But the other thing that's really, really nice about this machine is it makes interlocking bricks. So it eliminates the need for mortar in between your bricks. Furthermore, each of the interlocking brick molds has a hole that goes through the brick. So where you need to run plumbing, where you need to run electrical, where you need to run your various services, the bricks lend to your quickly and easily being able to build in that capacity. So what does that mean? That means that as soon as our brick maker touches down, I want to, and if somebody looks back at some of the videos I produced many years ago, you will hear me saying how much I like bricks, how much I want bricks. I want to see, if I see 1,000 bricks pressed out and sitting on the ground, guess what that means to me? That means a structure right now. So my hope is for when we go in April, my hope is that I'm going to be able to lay a few of the bricks to the foundation of my home. And my hope is that other members can join in as well and also lay bricks in their homes in Africa, lay some of the initial brickwork.
Excellent. As you know, I told you I was going to buy the land, but I put most of that money into the potato farm in Uganda. And I should be looking at replenishing my funds to get that land in Zambia, probably April.
Yep.
But everything I'm hearing from you so far, it sounds excellent, and just continue on. I'm sorry, I'm going to chime in every now and then, but I appreciate your transparency. Thank you.
Absolutely, brother. And again, everybody, your microphones were muted. If you're sitting there talking, it's like a kung fu movie. Your lips are just moving, ain't nobody hearing that. So if you have a question, comment, please unmute your microphone and go ahead and ask that. If you can't unmute your microphone because you're on a phone or a tablet or something like that, there's a chat room, and you can just hit me up in the chat room as well, and I'll unmute your microphone so that you can speak. All right, and ask any question that you have.
Peter, I want to ask you, what's the status on Kenya, the crops in Kenya?
I'm gonna jump into right now. Generally, I go straight to Kenya because Kenya is the hard one. Kenya is the difficult one. And again, I tend to reiterate and restate kind of where we are, where we came from. Kenya has been very, very difficult and very painful. It's been very costly. And that is because, again, we are doing something that's never been done there. When you drive, you've heard me say it 1,000 times, when you drive off of the road to get to our land, you're driving for an hour on just, you don't see nothing. You see again, so much so that you think they're about to drive you down this dark, dark road and bump you off and you're done, because you can't even imagine how they are navigating. There's no structure that gives you visible mapping, right? There's nothing there, nothing, right? And you drive for an hour in this nothingness. Roads that are changing every hour, every day when it rains. Like, there's no landmarks, there's no signs, and they get to the land. So challenge in Kenya has not only been those hurdles that we had, drought, this thing, but also communication. Communication is extremely difficult, primarily because Kiama's out on the farm. And in that, there ain't no, and I'm going to have a conversation as soon as possible. But based on him being out on the farm, there is no option to communicate. He either rides out for 4 hours to get service to send me a message, or he keeps working. And what he does is he keeps working. What Kiama wants to do is, next time he speaks to me, is say, here. That's what he wants to do. That's what he wants to do. He don't want to talk no more. And I can dig it still. And there are some, I have to speak with him. But the fact that we're going into Uganda and I would like him to come in and speak, that's going to take time out of his schedule. And so, again, I'm trying to get as clear as I can in Kenya. Again, it's difficult. I did send and speak with Zach. Is anyone on the call that came with me to Africa? I don't think so. Well, Zach was one of the dudes that we met in Africa. Cool. I mean, this dude was, yeah, he's very cool. Zach, I can't pronounce his last name, but very cool. Worked with Kiama, worked on the farm. He's in some of the pictures of us in Africa. And so I reached out to him because he's in the city, right? He's in Nairobi. He's around like that and goes back and forth. So I reached out to him and I asked him to have Kiama get in touch with me. So he'll roll out to the farm. Again, if you roll out during the week, it's a 7-hour trip. It took us 7 hours to get from Nairobi to Rumarudi, to Laikipia County. 7 hours. On the weekend, it took three, but during the week, 10. So Zach's going to get out there, speak with Kiama, and Kiama will come into town, get a report to me, and we'll have full understanding. I will say, from everything that I've seen, the last time that I have spoken with him, the last time I've seen, my man is working. Again, I ain't throwing no shade. I'm saying Kiama has 53,000 acres of land around him to work with. Nobody can keep up with that. You can't, if you got that much land, so we don't, I was going to create some sort of a healthy competition between the executive directors. And I'm still trying to figure out how to gamify it a little bit so that we have some healthy competition, but just on sheer acreage, you know what I'm saying? Kiama will win by default all the time. So I'm trying to think of a way to do that. But last number I know is that we have 500 acres as a group, and that 500 acres is now irrigated. That 500 acres, my expectation is rocking. I would love to see, and I would love to be able to speak to, just as I said, in Zambia, I can tell you early February, that's what we're looking at, right? I'd love to be able to speak to that quantifiably in Kenya. I cannot. And I will get to that place. Okay. In Uganda, wow. What can we say? I mean, Uganda is unbelievable. Magomu, wow. This dude is just absolutely unbelievable. He has organized just so many different areas. It's unbelievable. So coffee in Uganda is absolutely happening. And in fact, before we jumped on this call, I just came back from the police station. I swear I should have recorded it, but I just came back from the police station in my local area. And, I went up to the desk and I said, this is going to be a little strange. You ain't never had nobody come in here and engage in a dialogue like this. And she's back there with a dude. And he says, oh boy. And I says, yeah. I says, yeah. So I lived here for about 3 years. And when I moved here, the one thing I noticed was, I'm real busy. The cops are running around all the time. And so what I wanted to do was I wanted to just come in and say, thank you. Thank you for your piggy efforts. Thank you for being piggies, and I gave them some samples of our coffee. Now, what's going to happen is this just blew their mind. They wasn't used to no exchange like this. They ain't never had no exchange like that. I completely controlled them, right? Okay. What's going to happen is in a minute, you're going to see them post. The first time they taste it, they're going to post on their public website a thanks to that mystery man, that wonderful man that came in and brought us our piggy blend. And so the coffee is in America. It is the very best coffee. If you have not had an opportunity to taste it, please do. So I see Janice Adams ordered more coffee a few weeks ago and not in receipt of it as of today. I have a few plans in which I would like to proceed on. However, I don't want to proceed because of inconsistency or uncertainty of shipment within the USA. So that was actually addressed so they have a meeting, an ongoing meeting, coffee hours on Saturdays at 9 a.m. And that's early for you. So you would never make it to that. But so that was actually addressed. What has happened is there was the identification of a kind of a shortcoming in relation to the shipping. We were absorbing a higher cost in the manner in which that coffee was being delivered, right? And so what has happened is there's been kind of an agile reaction to that. And you can expect that your coffee will get delivered to you in a quicker fashion is the expectation. Now, I see Philip in the room. If you would like to speak to that in any specificity, that would be awesome. You'd have to unmute your microphone if you want to speak, but you could be busy, and maybe maybe I said it all. So again, I'm really proud to say that that Philip identified kind of the shortcoming in that area, and in a very agile manner moved to address that, and that's in play now. So you should certainly be getting your coffee shortly, and you should have a more streamlined experience in relation to getting to it. Okay. Any other questions? All right. So, Uganda, right? So Uganda coffee is in America. If you have not tried it, I'm going to tell you, it is going to change absolutely everything. It is the best coffee I've ever had in my life. I was never actually a coffee drinker. I've been pretty much like everyone. I'll go grab a K-cup, or I'll go grab I'll grab whatever it is available, and I will have a cup of coffee. Okay. I never thought I was a coffee person per se. But after having this coffee, it's all changed. I don't want anything else. I never knew how good coffee could be. Right? I never knew how bad what I was drinking was until I had our coffee. So again, I encourage you, get some, try it, and it's fantastic. The capacity that we've cultivated, the work that has been done by way of the coffee, the Ledge Coffee Limited, is unbelievable. For them to have taken as many challenges and hurdles as they have to get it to the place where we've got products in our hands. Not only do we have products, but we've got some of the best product anyone's ever had. Man, they deserve, again, it's a success story, right? This is what the Ledge is about. The Ledge is about spinning up models, spinning up businesses for each and every one of you, and then allowing each and every one of us to invest in your business, making it successful and taking a share, right? Or taking a piece somehow, right? Or benefiting somehow from what your business does. So in my mind, the place where Ledge Africa Coffee Limited is like the feather in the cap of the ledge. It's exactly the way it's supposed to work, right? It's exactly the way this is supposed to work. So I couldn't be more proud. And I certainly encourage each of you to congratulate the team's CEO, Philip Jones, and those who have Magomu, absolutely, those who have worked to make this reality, okay? And enjoy a cup of coffee. So furthermore, Irish potatoes are in the ground and working. I think we've got cabbage going in Uganda. I know we've got onions. I asked Magomu, and so much like most of you probably, some of these things you've probably never seen grow. Like me, personally, I don't think I've ever seen onions grow, like from the ground. I don't think I've ever seen that. And so, I'm sure Magomu hears me with some of the requests I have, and he's like, "Is this dude, right?" Because I'm like, "Can you take a picture of the onions? I just want to see how they look, how they grow, right? And I want to see how everything grows. The cabbage, soon enough, I'll be there, right? Soon enough, I'll have my hands in it, and I'll be doing it, but I haven't, you know what I'm saying? And so I ask of them to send me pictures, and as I get them, I'll share them. As my guess is, most of you are probably as interested as I am. Or it could just be me, but so onions are happening, cabbage is happening, Irish potatoes, that's a meal. I mean, that's a breakfast in Jamaica, add some of them dumplings and stuff. And and another really nice element, so that's Uganda. Okay, so a really nice element of kind of what we're doing, and I don't know whether or not you all paid attention to it. Well, you probably did because I got a big mouth and I said it, but what you will see is that the compensation models are being expanded, right? So the standard compensation model, and this is public knowledge, that is 75%. 75% of what you invest, you will get back across 4 harvests, right? So when the potatoes are done, they'll get harvested. You'll get 75% of your investment amount back. So if you put in 100, you get $75 at harvest time, and then you get $75 the next harvest time, 75 the next, and 75 the next, right? 4 harvests, 300%. Okay. So what you will notice is we are now expanding the amount of time that you receive that 75% payoff. So now instead of it just being 4 harvests, you'll see that in some of the new projects, you see it expands to 5 years. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, and I could be wrong, but we'll get there, there are some that extend to 10 years. So what that means is, and the logic behind it, is being able, as individuals, to say, okay, in this next quarter, in this year, I can count on X amount of dollars from onions, X amount of dollars from cabbage, X amount of dollars from potatoes. I can further count on, in the next month, X amount from this project, X amount for that. And because of the staggered payoff type, it ensures that not only do you see that and can count it now, but you can count it 5 years out, 10 years out, right? And so I think that is huge benefit, and it is intelligence as it relates to building these models. Because again, why does that work? How can we do that, right? Well, we can do that based on this, okay? The chicken farming endeavor has just been financed, right? So what's gonna happen is Ejike, Executive Director Ejike is going to go out and build the roost, the heating, he's going to build out the coops, he's going to get the feed, he's going to get all of the things necessary in order to raise those chickens, okay? When those chickens are raised and brought to market, right? And when eggs are produced and brought to market, what happens is he's going to go ahead and reinvest the money that he earns in expanding the operation. So what that means is, with each of these projects that we launch, with the first infusion of cash into that project, you don't have to put cash into it again, right? If it's well thought out, if you've looked at all of the factors, you're not going to have to put cash into it again. What's going to happen is it's going to, in 120 days, it's going to produce whatever that produce is. It's going to produce whatever that livestock is. We're going to bring that to market. It's going to bring back enough profit, not only to pay investors what they've put in, that 75%, but it's also going to pay the farmer as well as the ledge, a component, and allow the expansion of that project each and every single interval, right? So what that means is every project that we stand up grows in perpetuity, right? So 50 years from now, guess what happens? Those chickens are still producing. There's still money involved there, okay? And so what we're looking to do is, again, build it out in such a way that you can say, okay, because let's look at the way we're wired today here in America. We're wired to work until we're 65 years old, right? And then at 65, we're gonna stand and we're gonna say, welcome to Walmart, I love you, right? Right? We're gonna work till we're 65 years old. And at that point, we're hoping that the cumulative benefit that we've accumulated based on our Social Security is going to be enough to allow us to live in the method that we've become accustomed to.
Not happening.
And so the fact is, what we have built is something that says, okay, instead of my gambling and hoping that this government is going to give me my Social Security benefit, we'll build it instead. So if I can say, okay, 250 from this endeavor every month, 250 from that endeavor, 300 from that endeavor, 700 from that endeavor, if I can do that, and if we can do that across years, bruh, that's better than any Social Security I ever heard of. You're able to stack your own future and control it for yourself, right? The houses that we build, we ain't gonna owe nobody for, right? That's your house. That's your house, right? So what we're building is a solution that keeps us from having to be dependent, that keeps us from having to, right, to live the way we have in America. It's an intelligent, again, it's an intelligent model. I point at all times back to the ancestors, because it's not anything that was not being pointed at. They've been telling us to do this, you know. Now we're here. Okay. The dates that we're going to be in Uganda, and and Lisa is not here, is she? Okay. The dates that we're going to be in Uganda. We will be in Uganda on April. So our flight takes off April 20th. We'll be in Uganda April 21st. We will be there until May 10th. Okay. We are probably going to stay at a beach resort. I figure Why not? And there's a number of things that are going on as we speak to kind of this trip. One, Lisa's never actually, we ain't never took a vacation. Everywhere we go, every time we've gone somewhere, and you're going to see it happen. Whoever comes along, you'll see it. It's natural. But we ain't never stayed in no resort. Like, they got the beautiful sands and beaches in Jamaica. We ain't seen none of that. We didn't see none of that. We had a blue bucket that we had to wash in. We would take and fill the blue bucket up with this freezing cold water, and we'd sit it out in the sun. Now, a big blue bucket of water, the more difficult it is for you to be able to move it. So you couldn't fill it, right? So you put a little bit of water out there. And that's, it was never a vacation. So in this case, I want her to, I want to have a nice stay. Furthermore, we need to combat the perception that is widely held by ours here in America that, has most of our brothers and sisters in America think, my goodness, Africa is awful. Everybody's starving. There's Ebola. There's Boko Haram. We need to combat those images that are forced on our psyche by way of the media and these news outlets. And this trip is going to do exactly that. I ain't going to tell y'all what's on the menu for our conference. I'll just say the live images, the live video, it's going to dispel an awful lot of illusions as it relates to Africa. Unity between the continental African and the Africa and the diaspora and what is possible. Okay, it's going to dispel an awful lot of illusions, I promise you. So toward that end, there are 50 invitations available. 50 people can come to the conference. So again, I encourage you, come to Africa. The flight from Boston to Uganda is $850, right? $850. The room that we're gonna take is probably about $75 a day. Okay, it's not that bad. It's gonna be April 20th to May 10th. That gives you some time. You could, get that done and you could join us. And I encourage you to do so. I'm doing everything that I can to ensure that our executive directors come from all of their countries to be involved in that conference so that they can speak to the impact what we've done has made in their respective areas. Furthermore, you can hear their vision, right? Because I ain't giving them the vision, right? I ain't telling them what they're going to do on them lands. You can hear their vision for what 2020 looks like and into the future, right?
Question.
Yeah.
All right. You just speaking about this conference, and that's great and everything, but it's a little bit, even though I've known about a month or so in advance because of my investment in Uganda, I'm a little bit short, and I want to go there tight, like a brown paper bag, and I don't want to be like that. Mm-hmm. So I'm looking at October, and I wanted to ask you specifically, will those prices still be the same or will they vary? Also, I have to get immunized, and I'd like to know exactly what type of shots I have to get to go to those countries.
Man, look. So first question, and I'll restate it. October, is there a firm date for it yet?
Right.
There is not. Oh, no, that wasn't your question. Your question was, are the prices going to be the same? My experience is when we went to Kenya, our tickets were $850. Cool. And I was looking at, because, I'm as I get older, I'm that dude. I send in the little warranty card. I be reading the receipt. I'll do the survey. I do that now. I got less to do. I ain't running the streets. I'm reading the warranty, the prices I was checking up until the day we left to go to Kenya. And in fact, the closer I got to the day, the price came down. It was $100 or so. So, like a week before it was time for me to leave, if I'd have ordered that ticket, I'd have saved $100, which is significant, right? That would have brought the total ticket price down to $750. But my experience says I can consistently get $850 from Boston. And so if you use justfly.com, you're going to find those same basic results.
And how long will we be staying so I'll be able to gauge how much money I need for lodging?
In October?
Yes.
My guess is when we went to Kenya, everybody, people stayed for different intervals, right? Me, I'm going for 20 days. 20 days? Yeah, 20 days.
That's about $1,500.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just trying to get ballpark figures at this time because I'm doing some other things, some real estate over here. So I have to have money for all the different little projects I have lined up, and I don't want to overextend myself. And like I said, and going to Africa and then not having money to like buy some art or something like that. I don't want to be like that. So
no, that's not how you want to go to Africa.
No.
If you're gonna go there, let's enjoy it. Yeah. Okay. And that's why you also don't want to make it a short trip either. You don't want to go in there for a week. You're gonna be on a plane for 24 hours. Or at least in transit for 24 hours. So you don't want to cut that short.
Okay, so the last thing, the shots are just go to my regular doctor and just ask her what I need for these particular countries.
Nope. And you're gonna find that there's a travel medicine. Oh, I forgot the name of it. Your doctor doesn't do it. Your doctor doesn't have those. You're going to find it's travel medicine and it's further not covered by insurance. Okay. Now, man, the ordeal that I went through, because I called them up and I said, okay, I'm going to Kenya and I don't know what I need. Right. And they said, okay, come on in. They set up an appointment and I went in and they ran me through their little standard rigmarole of education and all the rest of this. And they went through a list of those things that they said that I should have. And, the Hep A, Hep B, everything, right? They ran through this entire list. And again, it's not covered by insurance. So each and every single one of these things that they was listing off was money, man. It wasn't, and I'm like, yo, wait. So, because they're just running through it, because this is their standard, right? And they think they about to just, jab me up and charge me $2,000, right? I'm like, wait, slow down. And it was at that point that I asked the most relevant question in the entire experience, which was, what exactly will they stop me from entering that country if I don't have? And she said, nothing. I said, have a nice day.
Oh, thank you.
Nothing, right? Now, what I did do was I got typhoid because at that time, typhoid was recommended. So ain't nobody checking that in Kenya, they're not checking your shots, right? So typhoid was recommended. I got the typhoid, right? I thought I got malaria. But I might not have. And just now, what I got was for Uganda, you have to have yellow fever.
All right, that's what I wanted to know.
They will not let you in Uganda without this. Now, here's the other thing. To be aware of. We're talking about immunizations. You're coming from America. You are not exposed to infectious diseases such that that country would say, nah, you can't come in here. The problem isn't going to the country. The problem is getting back out, right? So Tanzania requires a lot. If you want to leave from Tanzania and go to any other country, you have to have an awful lot of immunization records in order to pass through. And if you don't, here's where it gets interesting. If you don't, they're not letting you out of the country. And so now what you have to do is you have to make an appointment in order to get those shots, right? Or get that immunization. Well, the place isn't going to give you an appointment for a week, 2 weeks. That means you're stuck in that country. You need to find accommodations wherever you are. That means the money that you thought you had for your vacation might have just gotten eaten up right there. Last thing you want to do is be in a country that you ain't used to, trying to beg for money. You can't even tell what that money is. What is that?
Oh, we're not going to Tanzania.
No, sir.
All right.
We'll be by it, but no, we've got a rather aggressive, and I'll speak to that. It's about an aggressive schedule there because I would like to get into Kenya. It's going to be based on the disposition of, so I want to get stones in place to dedicate the well to the donors, okay? The 2 wells to the donors. And so if my reaching out to Kiyama and he says to me, yeah, well, I'm working on harvesting. So what will happen is I'll say to Kiyama, hey, we're coming in April. How do we look on those stones? He'll drop everything. He won't tell me about any hurdles associated with it. He'll drop everything and he'll work on making sure that those stones are prepared. That's not what I want to have happen. I don't want the stones rushed, and I don't want work to suffer. So I don't know, right? I want to get into Kenya. Magomo really wants to get into Kenya. So we may. It's a drive, right? We're going to drive down to Lakapia and see the land. But at the same time, we want to get into Zambia, right? Which is a nice flight over Victoria Falls. So it'll be a really nice opportunity, is my guess, to take some nice photos and a really nice experience. So we'll go over the Victoria Falls, I think, to get into Zambia. And then we'll get to our land. Hopefully we can press out some bricks. I want to press out some of my own. And I might want to carve one with my initials, you know, something corny like PB plus LF or something, you know, and place my brick. And then from Zambia, we'll be back in Uganda. Okay. The dates in each country. I knew you were going to ask me that, Dion. I'm not completely sure. I can say that we're going to get into Uganda 21st. The conference, if I'm not mistaken, I wish Magoma was here. I know we posted it in Facebook. I think the conference was for the 24th or the 25th. Can somebody correct me if I'm wrong? I think it was the 24th or 25th.
Don't actually support.
Is it a 2-day thing? Because I did see that it said the 25th.
No, it's a 1 day.
Yeah, it was the 25th. Yeah.
25th. Okay. So 25th is the conference. Then my guess is we'll chill on the 26th, right? 27th, I think everybody be ready to roll. We're rolling to Kenya, right? We're rolling to Kenya. We may, in fact, it's highly likely when we roll into Kenya, we'll find a place to stay there. we'll find one of the local hotels and stay there for a day or maybe 2. Okay. I'd certainly like everybody to have the opportunity to plant their own tree on the land in Kenya, and to pour libations and to, again, get comfortable with that land. So I'd like that to be a potential. I smell chemicals. I need to go find that in a sec. Then after Kenya, right? So potentially 2 days in Kenya, then back to Uganda, and then fly out of Uganda into Zambia, right? Now, Zambia, I'd like to stay maybe, I'm open, right? I'm kind of open, 3-4 days. Then back to Uganda, chill on the beach for a couple of days, take off from Entebbe. Does that sound?
That sounds real good. If you're going to go in October and stay 20 days, I've already got my money put together, so I'm straight.
Who did that?
Cecil. Who else?
That's what's up. That's what's up. Yeah, we're going to go back in October.
Hey, Peter, this is Dion.
How you doing, sister?
Good. So it's important to know these dates because I can't stay that whole time. So I'm trying to figure out, if I can only go for a week, where are you guys going to be within that time so I can plan accordingly?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Okay. Yes. So you would most likely be coming in the first week then, right?
Yeah. I would try to do it that way.
I would suggest right around that area, like the 20th we're leaving, 21st we'll be there. If you you'll just really need to worry about Uganda, right?
Well, no, because you said that you would be there and then you would go to Kenya.
So in that first 7 days, we probably will. So maybe, so are you talking a week? When you say a week, you mean 7 days?
Yes.
Yeah. So my guess is, right, we'll get there the 21st. Conference is the 25th. Maybe we roll to Kenya. 21st, 25th. Oh, got it. I see.
See, that's why I may have to go one way in and fly out of somewhere else. You know what I mean?
That's possible.
Yeah.
That's possible, right? So we go in. You know what, too, is had I allowed Lisa more input, we sure would have done that. And she's kicking me for having done it the way I did. Because we probably would have flown out of Zambia had I really thought it through. But yeah, so figure we after the conference we go into Kenya probably around the 26th, 27th, drive into Kenya, see the land there, and then you could fly out in Nairobi. Jomo Kenyatta, which is a really nice airport. Yeah, so that could work. That's about the time table that is likely.
So we definitely are. The plan is to land in Entebbe on the 21st.
Yep.
Okay, because I'm gonna have to figure out my flight because I'm not seeing that $850 from Kansas City. I'm about double that. I see $1,600.
Damn.
So I'll probably be driving to Boston and we'll go from there.
I mean, for that, leave the car here, man. Make a week up. You know what I'm saying?
For real.
Look, we'll barbecue before we roll out, man. It'll be April, right?
Come on, boys.
So you come through. We get some jackfruit on the grill. We'll barbecue and we'll roll out from here, man, and get that $850 price, man.
Most definitely.
Hello?
Yeah.
Hi, this is Felicia.
Hey, Felicia.
Hey, I sent you the email. I'm so sorry. I'm in the middle. I got my auntie, she's 101. I'm listening kind of, so I might have missed it. But I was wondering about the vaccinations and the shots and things.
Yes. So In Kenya, you didn't need anything. Nothing at all. Okay. For Uganda, you have to get yellow fever. Yellow fever, right? Yeah. Yellow fever shot. And
Okay.
I got to tell you, I don't take needles. I don't do that. And especially nothing that they say you need to take, right? But so I was a little bit anxious about it. I still don't like the idea, right? But I will say that it's like, those little diabetes test pricks that they have?
Yes.
It's like that. You don't even know it.
Okay.
They hit you with the thing. They hit me in the back. She said, okay, we have to give this shot hit. The most tender piece of my meat, man. And I was like, yeah, for real? You got to do it there, huh? I know. And so she went and hit me. I didn't even know she did it.
Okay. Now, my other question or thing that I'm going through, I'm bringing she'll be almost 9-year-old granddaughter. And she's not vaccinated at all. I don't do it. I didn't do it with my kids. So she's not vaccinated at all.
Only thing that I would suggest is, definitely that she would have to have the yellow fever.
Okay.
Definitely have to. They'll check, right? That's one of the mandatory. But the other thing that I would be aware of is malaria because of the mosquitoes. I got brothers. I'm trying to tell you, there's brothers I speak to that are in Ghana in different areas. Cat got malaria every other week.
Ugh.
Every other week. It's based on the season and how many mosquitoes are out there, but it's more common than we think. Like, man, every other week, brah. How you even get? I just can't even imagine still being hydrated. You just need like an IV drip of water. Like, what? And the problem is that the medical care isn't the very best. And so, that could be hard, So I would suggest malaria. I say that, and I will qualify it by also saying, in Kenya, I did not see one single mosquito. Not one. I don't remember seeing flies. I don't. I remember Alonzo saw a gang of spiders. And then there was a video that I did where this big thing buzzed me. And I don't know to this day what that thing was, but it sure photobombed me. This thing came at me. But I didn't see no mosquitoes. I didn't see no bugs. We saw a lot of lizards. Lizards would be like, you'd be sitting in the living room and a lizard would come out of a little crack in the wood that you wouldn't think anything could come out. And he'd come right out and he'd walk up somewhere and he'd be gone. Red lizards, green, blue, they were all different kind of colors. All right.
I must have gotten lucky because I didn't get the malaria vaccine for Ghana or Senegal.
And my guess is, depending on where you're going, right, is going to determine how much mosquito you're going to see. But I got to tell you, we was out on the farm, right? We was eating food from the farm. And we were there in the evening. I still didn't see no mosquitoes. When I tell you the farm, right? I'm saying that Kiama showed us the fence where the elephant had knocked it over in order to be able to get to some of the produce that was there. I'm saying we're in Africa, right? On the farm. I didn't feel nary one mosquito, not one. They had a, I don't know if anybody's seen it. I'll share some of the images. They had a, I don't know, for lack of a better description, like a little clubhouse that was built in the middle of the land. And what they did was they had a barrel and they would light fires in that through the night. And that would be enough to keep the elephants away. If they, if they perceived humans being there, they wouldn't come. So they had this area that was in the center of the field that they would light fires and keep the elephants away. I was just like, wow, let me see elephants. I got to be careful I don't get elephant stomped or gorilla banged. I'm that dude. So that's Zambia, that's Kenya, that's Uganda. Nigeria, again, spoke to that. Chickens are in process. I will say further, we have a new executive director. I announced Caleb earlier, but he is in South Africa and anxious, lots of land, lots of capacity, lots of a big workforce, and South Africa is ready to grow. And the Ledge Group definitely wants to be a part of that. So I'm really pleased to say that South Africa is online, and we're going to soon see some projects coming out of there. We've got our fantastic team of Willie and Latasha Richardson as our West African executive directors, and they are engaged in conversation with more folk than they thought they would be. I love the fact that I can forward them an email and the amount of surprise and excitement is absolutely unbelievable, because again, there's a lot so Africa has always had these needs, always. And what has happened is the colonists have come in and provided half measures and half solutions. So the needs never really went anywhere, because if the colonists fulfilled the need, well, then the colonists wouldn't be needed, right? So they never solved the problems. They go in and they ease the pain, but they allow the problem to persist so that they can extract whatever it is that they want. Well, so this is a very different thing, right? It's a very different model. So again, I'm so very excited about everything that we're doing everywhere we are. I love, again, being able to shock and amaze the West African executive directors. We have people that are asking for some assistance as it relates to wildlife sanctuaries in Kenya. Some of those that I had actually been to, as well as the large ones, Masai Mara. And so I'm looking at them. We're entertaining them. At the end of the day, what I have to do is I have to figure out a way that it's profitable for the Africans in the diaspora. My job here is very simple. My job is very simple. It is to prove that we can do business in Africa and turn a profit that we can use right here where we are. That is my job. If I can do that, if we can build a conduit that allows that to happen, the floodgates will open from the Africans in the diaspora. I'm not nobody's judge. I don't want my brothers to stop spending $800 on sneakers. If you got that, do that. I'm not that dude that's saying, don't spend $800 on a bundle. I'm not. If you got that, do that. Do what you do, right? Here's what I'm saying. Instead of investing in their stock market as a solvent means of being able to bring ourselves somewhere else, instead of investing in them as a means of being able to carry ourselves, let's build a bridge where we can invest directly with some people that can absolutely appreciate it and ain't gonna call you what they've been calling you, right? And turn a profit at the same time. That's, in my mind, that's the kind of investment I want. That's the only kind of investment I want, is with my own. So, again, it is exciting. It's exciting to see various countries approach, various projects come to us and come past the wheelhouse. And with due diligence, we build in the checks and balances, We build in the safety parameters. We deploy proof of concepts. We cultivate and develop the trust, and we grow forward, right? All right, so that speaks to the projects that we have active, the places that we have just recently cultivated capacity. Are there any questions relative to anything I've covered? Again, you can unmute your mic at any time and ask your question.
Oh, no question, but one thing I wanted to touch on as far as immunization is people, you may want to bring some something for parasites. That's been the problem every time I go to Africa. It's the parasites that get stomach problems and stuff. You get the good wormwood and different remedies like that. That may be a good thing to have in your bag, travel bag.
That's right. And the other thing is, you want to pay attention to the rules of the road, right? When you get vegetables there, if you don't know the water or the source, you want to soak those vegetables for 10 to 15 minutes in vinegar and water, right? And get that pesticide off. While it might be perfect for the local people, they've been born on it, eating it, regular, you haven't, and it can affect you. And you got to use logic, you know. You learn, and when you get in there and you see different things, you learn. I will never forget, and I might have relayed this story, but Beatrice, who you interact with in the group, she was taking care of us in Kenya. Okay. And so we get out into this marketplace, we stretch our feet, you know what I'm saying? And I'm smelling this street meat, man. And I'm like, oh, that smells real good, right? And I'm like, and she says, no, don't do it. And I'm like, yeah, okay. And so then we get to another marketplace. There it is again. Bang, like pepper steak or something, all up in my nose, man. I'm like, oh, that just smells so righteous. And she's like, no, you don't want that. And I'm like, is any place good for you, Beatrice? You know. And so again, we get to another place. Bam, there's that meat. And I'm like, you know, Beatrice says, no, I put the hand up. You're done. You're done, son. And I walk over to the place, right? Dude is slow slicing this meat, and it looked just as juicy and love-like. I'm like, oh, I'm watching him slow slice it, and the juice is popping off of it. And I'm like, yo, man, I need some of that right there, right? And he ain't really pay attention. He just keeps slicing it, looking at it. You know what I'm saying? And so Beatrice comes up from behind, and she says, oh, you're gonna get some then, huh? I said, yeah. She said, okay, good. I just wanted to ask you. We've had a drought for 7 months. What do you think he washes his hands with? I said, oh shit. I looked back at his hands. I was like, oh, he rubbed his nose. I said, oh. Oh, nah, I don't want to meet. No, I'm good. Yeah. So, to be aware is to be alive. You gotta, and you definitely want to pay attention to whoever's taking care of you. They're gonna lead you all right. Don't eat the street meat, man. It smells good. You're gonna want to try it. Don't try it. All right. Now, if there ain't no drought, if you're in a place that there ain't no drought, you could possibly be okay. You know, just don't eat everything, you know. Any questions? You know what else too? I'm so embarrassed to say. We went to a damn burger shop. It was the worst burger I ever had in my life. I don't know what I was expecting. We went to a burger shop when we was there. Sorry to say. Well, all right. Any questions? I need to figure out what this damn chemical smell is. I could be slowly dying up in here, man.
Okay, just for my clarification, I need For the immunization, typhoid, malaria, and yellow fever.
Yellow fever is the only thing you need for Uganda.
Yeah, but I'm going to Zambia as well as Kenya.
You don't need anything for Zambia, and you didn't need anything for Kenya either.
Okay, so now I'm down to just one. Thank you.
Yes.
And so, I'm looking at whenever I go somewhere. Well, since it's my first time, and I just ran the numbers down, I'm going to have double whatever it is.
Yeah.
So when I go, I'll be more than compensate for any irregularities.
Yeah. Well, and I can tell you what's going to cost you the most, right? Your lodging is cheap. Your airfare is cheap. What's going to cost you is transportation and data bundles for you to be able to use your phone, to be able to text or, whoa, that's where you will spend your money. Transportation and data bundles. Everything else, man, look. Okay, I know I got so many stories, but we went into this place, right? It was the last night, and I figured I wanted to buy everybody a good steak, everybody in the group, right? And so we went up into a butcher shop, and I said, all right, I want some steaks, right? First of all, understand that they don't butcher meat the same way that they do here. You have very select and nice cuts of meat. That's not what they do there. When you say you want steak, they think you mean beef. That's what they're going to give you, beef. He walked up to this cow that was hanging in the window and just drew, and pulled this great big thing off and put it on the scale. And I was like, I was only talking about grabbing 6 steaks, 6, 7 steaks for the people. This dude just pulled off a half a bull. I'm like, whoa. So your food and like that, your money goes a long way. Your money goes a long way in Africa. But again, you will spend in transportation and in data bundles.
Okay, so that's why I'm looking at double whatever I've come up with so far. And so other than that, it's a once in a lifetime trip for me, man, out of this country back home. So, and I want to make sure that I'm prepared to also complete whatever needs to be completed in Zambia, complete with paperwork and everything, so I can go establish my bank account because I have an address now, and whatever else is needed to legitimize the transaction. Because from what I understand, it's total $7,000. So I'm already factored in a lot of stuff. So
so it's not. It's $7,000 if you want to pay upfront for the titling and survey on your land. It's $3,000, and they immediately go to work. If they go to work on that land, the profit from farming is going to pay for the titling and the survey. So it's up to you. If you want to pay for that up front, then the titling and the survey happens a lot sooner. But if not, $3,000, they go to work. If the land is going to pay for the titling and the survey, the farming will.
So do you think by the time, if I pay for it in, let's say, April or May, by the time it's time for us to leave to go there, 6 months?
Yeah, you got 6 months.
And so when I go there, the survey should be done by then?
Or it should be in process, something like that.
Okay, all right, because I just really want to be able to at least have an address so I can establish my an account.
Yes.
So this way I'll be able to wire transfer between my banks here and my bank there.
Mm-hmm.
And that's important for me because, hey, man, if I'm getting money from Uganda, just send it to my account, to my bank over here.
That's what I'm saying. And have the ability to access that account from here.
Exactly.
Man, I'm good.
Exactly.
I'm good. I'll move here if I need. I'll move it back and forth if I need to. But at least I have control over that.
And there's things I'm doing here which I can move money there quick.
Exactly.
My bank. So it's important for me to understand the time constraints or the time, how long, but as soon as I hit ground, I'm trying to start a forest fire getting over to that bank. I'm trying to get that address so I can say this is my place.
Yeah.
And so that way I can go on, put my paperwork in, and they'll understand. Oh, this is the trustee of the trust. That's it, and that's it. And so I'm good.
And I would speak to Chalemo and just let him know that you're anxious to have that done, and he get that. We got that.
No doubt. Thank you, brother. I appreciate your openness. Like I said, your transparency, man. It's real good to be part of this, as I keep saying, man. You know, and what you did, the Herculean, the superhuman, the godlike energy that you put into opening the door and holding it open for the rest of us, man. I thank you so much.
Wow. Again, I have to point towards the ancestors. I got to point, they did it. They did the heavy lifting. All we had to do was see it and step through. You know what I'm saying? So I'm grateful for all of my mistakes, for the lessons, and more than anything, for my dear mother that put me on this road, man. And here we are together.
Definitely appreciate you and Lisa and Miss Lydia Muhammad, because she put me on this path too. She turned my head. As soon as I heard the bell of truth, I was right there. So anyway, I appreciate your openness. I appreciate everything you're doing. Unfortunately, wait, you're gonna be on for a little while longer? Because I like your voice, man. You're pumping. I like that stuff you said about people that you're not gonna be polite. You know, if you ain't talking about food, clothing, shelter, water, hospitalization, and protection, security, you on the wrong path. You're on the wrong path entirely. You don't even know what's going on.
Even worse than that. Mm-hmm. Right? And I don't, everybody's not gonna be me. Everybody's not going to think like I am, right? And everybody's not going to be on the same level, right? But at the same time, if you're talking about and telling people day after day, week after week, year after year about their nationhood status, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
But you're not telling them that no matter what the hell you call yourself, if you can't provide for yourself food, clothing, and shelter, you're dead, right? You're not telling the people that their children will be relegated to a flesh-eating beast for the next 100 generations unless you do something, right? They're not telling them that. So I see my people and it angers me because they're talking about these things that have no capacity to address what is most critical right now. We had elders die in Chicago and
freezing weather.
I mean, it's to me, it is. So our number one problem as a people is inertia, right? That's our number one problem. And so when I see my brothers and sisters talking about these things, right? Kamala Harris, this woman that said $100 billion reparations, Cory Booker, Donald Trump, when I see them caught in this media circus, and that's what it is, right? Bread and circus. When I see them caught in that, and they didn't duck their head down to make sure that they could provide for their babies food, clothing, and shelter, what it is a harbinger to me that says to me, you're going to watch your baby starve. Your baby is going to suffer for your not being able to focus. You're not being able to see what is absolutely paramount for you to build before you leave here. If you don't understand that, you're going to have to watch your baby. They're looking to you as being the ultimate solution. They don't know that in your mind, Donald Trump is your master.
Wow.
They don't know that you have acquiesced to the idea that the government will always be there to take care of you and your food, clothing, shelter, healthcare, and security needs. They don't know that. They look to you. They think you are the one that no matter what happens, you're going to be the one that's going to pull them through. That's what your babies believe right now today.
Wow.
And if you're counting on this system to carry them, then you are going to watch horror. And I can't put it no plainer than that. You're going to see some shit you don't want to see. I'm telling you. And it's right at our doorstep. So I'm at a feverish pitch, man.
Yeah.
I'm at a feverish pitch because I know what's coming. I've been watching it and I've been speaking about it my entire life. I know what's coming. And it ain't pretty. It's not pretty. People think they are prepared for it. You ain't never seen this barbarian without his mask. You've never seen this barbarian without his mask. They've been trying to hold this facade up and make you believe that they're civil. And they've been trying to walk around. They done put on their Martin Luther King cloak and they act like they're moral and they're civil. So you have never seen them get to the place of desperation where the mask no longer fits. And I'm telling you, my people, I'm telling you, it's about to get real, real hot. They don't care about their own, much less you.
Wow.
It's about to get real hot.
It's time for me to go because but people over here, a lot of our folk over here don't even think that it can be done. That what you're doing, what we as alleged members are doing, can be done. And I'm like, wait a second. If we just go back in history just a little ways, they said we'll never come together. And I looked at them, I was like, are you stupid? And they're like, what? Are you on dope or dog food? They say, nah, we ain't never. I said, look, it's already happened twice before. You got Greensboro, Oklahoma, Oklahoma, the Black Wall Street, that happened. We came together. Then more recent, the Nation of Islam came together. And they've created a phenomenon that they're still talking about to this day, these Europeans. Right? So don't say we can't. No, just say you will not or you won't.
You're scared. And I get it, man. I get it. You know, it's I was talking with my brother the other day. You know what? It's easy. It would be an easy thing for me to shut my mouth and go along and do the job that they say I should do and work until I'm 65 and get into the welcome to Walmart, I love you, and die and let them sell all my stuff back to my children. That's easy. I could do that. Most of us, that's what they have laid out for each and every one of us. Absolutely. I understand. It's scary to say or to think I'm going to take my own destiny in my own hands. I'm going to live or die based on my efforts or lack thereof. I know that's a scary thing. I know it is. But let me tell you something. Once you taste freedom, nothing else will do. The question is not whether or not you can. It's whether or not you will. Understand, when the Emancipation Proclamation happened, right? And the anti-vagrancy laws went into place, our people moved, man. And they moved. They didn't just, a lot of us don't understand. And again, as I said, I'm thinking about being a history teacher so that people can get a really good appreciation as to what was going down. They moved during the night. They were legal, right? According to the law, according to the federal law, they were legal. But they weren't legal. You had night riders. You had, again, the police that had the Anti-Vagrancy Act. So if they seen them and they didn't have ID, they didn't have someone to vouch for them and $2 in their pocket, they could be arrested and sold back to the plantation at cost. Wow. So they moved at night, right? And they moved from place to place to place. Okay. Well, when they moved, right, our people were so skilled that they could go to a place, plant crops, have a harvest, sell some of those crops off to those locals, and keep it pushing. They had to stay. They made the field. Look, they would sell it to the locals that been living around that field and couldn't make nothing grow in that field. But they showed up, squatted there for a minute, grew their crops, had a banquet, sold some of their food off, and kept pushing, leaving that field the way it was. And you can't tell me that we can't do this. The real solution is to go backwards, to go forward. I hear so many different of these movements and efforts. And the fact is, again, they're predicated on assuming massa is always going to be there to provide food, clothing, shelter, water, healthcare, and security. If you minus those things from your life right now that are being provided for you, if you minus those things, your sanitation goes down now. Your water goes down. Your heat, all of the services that they provide, you minus that from your life right now, how long can you survive?
Most people not long. Not long.
Majority of us got 30 days. Got 30 days. And that is what makes us slaves. We're tied to the success or failure of a people that hate us. If they go down. So right now in America, guess what? When Donald Trump walks away from the nuclear arms deal with Russia, oh yeah, you got to pay attention. Because if your master goes down, guess who's tied to him?
We are.
You. That's right. You going down. So that means you got to pray every day for master to stay alive and to stay healthy so they can keep providing for you the things that you don't provide for yourself. I can't take it. I can't take it. I can't hear of people whining about GMO foods but failing to take any effort to provide themselves food. Don't tell me about police killings if you take no effort in providing your own security. If you ain't willing to do it for yourself, say thank you, master. Otherwise, you build your way up.
Well, I'm in the building, bro. And in my life, I've patrolled my neighborhood, and I was part of an organization that's all we did. We guarded the women and children as they slept. You get more respect from your women and children when they know that you get out your bed at 3 o'clock in the morning and do a 3-hour guard shift. That's what time it is.
Do you know what that does to your woman's mentals? To the women in the area that you're at? To know that you're on post. I don't care who said they're protecting it out here. Everything got to go through me.
That's it.
Everything got to go through me.
That's it.
When she has that confidence, she knows you on post, man. She ain't never rested such a restful night in her life. This is where we go back to go forward. It's all, keep it real, real simple. Cut off all the power, and what do you need? Cut off all power right now, and what do you need? I don't care if it's a snowstorm, a hailstorm, a sandstorm, whatever it is. Cut off all of the power in your existence right now. And what are those things that you need in the next hour, in the next 12 hours, in the next 24, in the next 72? What do you need? And that is what you have to work on. Food, clothing, shelter, water, healthcare, and security.
And security. Man, that message, man, it just resonates so much. It just makes it so real that if you have crazy, you should understand that. Even if you are.
And I done said it before. Guess what? If what I'm saying is true, right, then it will be true under 360 degrees of scrutiny.
Absolutely.
So what I just said, is that true for the Italians too? You're damn right. Is it true for the Irish? Yep.
Absolutely.
Chinese, Puerto Rican, Indian?
Yes.
Anybody here, if you don't control your own food, clothing, shelter, water, healthcare, and security, you're a slave. I don't care how much that stings. It's the fact. No matter what race, what gender, I don't care what you call yourself, your political affiliation, it doesn't matter. If you can't control those things, and I do, the second I take them away from you, you're dead. Period.
And I also like the fact that you said you got to build your way out. That don't mean that you got to go cold turkey right now, but at least create a plan to get out of the current situation.
That's right. So we're not throwing away money. I'm not going to release the siphon on this strong economy. They got good dollars that we can use. So we're going to install a siphon in here to make sure that we can continue to pull them dollars into our environment. But at the same time, we're building an environment that if that siphon should break down, we still got everything that we need. Wait a minute, we got Shea soap over here. What? I ain't worried. So when their ship starts falling down, if the genie pops up and asks me, what do I wish for? I wish for a little bit of cilantro in my carrot juice. If I could,
Yeah.
Just the smallest little bit of.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You got it, man. Yeah. Peter, man. You on point, man. You on the pulse, baby. You are, like I say, man, when I read that, sounded like somebody else, a wise person I once knew in my younger years, but I'm ready to leave by next year. That's why I'm rushing this now. I'm ready
2020 vision.
Yeah.
2020 vision.
I'm trying to get out of here.
Yeah, man. 2020 vision. And guess what? I tell you, and again, the real point behind this was to open a door that all of us can go through. I ain't leaving here alone. I'm not gonna I'm not walking out of America alone. We're gonna lock arms. And everybody that's ready to walk, we're gonna walk the hell on away.
Because they ain't stopping you. They're building that wall to keep your ass in here.
They can't. They can't. This is the other reason that I'm trying to work on, and this is something that we haven't spoken about, but I'm trying to work on citizenships. And again, I'm not going to be that dude that says, well, Ghana, you all sold me, so you should probably give me citizenship. I'm not that dude. I'm not going with my hat in my hand anyway. I'm not asking for nothing. What we did was we provided jobs in your area. You can see our impact in your country. You can see what it is that we bring, the energy that we bring. So I'm not really asking. I'm saying, yo, you don't want us there? Yo, I can find another spot. I can go to Kenya. Kenya wants me. Give me a citizenship. And at that point, America can't say nothing. I decide I want to roll out. You can't stop me for nothing. That's where we're going. Freedom. I mean, not semi, not half. Freedom. That's not a lot. That's where we're going.
No, it's not a lot, but it is everything.
Mm-hmm. That's right. That's right. And nothing else will do.
That what it could can say to Fiddler when he died. Now you know what freedom is like.
Mm.
You have to pass on in this environment in order to understand what freedom is like.
Yeah, man. And again, this is the dynamic that we have to change for our children so that when the Russians are in turmoil, or when the United States of America, based on what they have done and what they have embraced, are in turmoil, or when the UK or Germany or Portugal or Spain or Venezuela or any of these people in Greece, when they're all in turmoil because of what they have brought to this earth, again, just a little cilantro in my carrot juice. That's all.
That's all I want.
That's all. We got everything else. I got potatoes. I got everything else. A little bit of cilantro, if you could. Stir it up. Stir it up.
Oh man! Again, thank you, God. I mean, yes. You are walking in the footsteps of God because you've taken charge of your existence, and you want other people to do the same. And that makes you more like God than you'll ever know. Wow. And Goddess as well. You see?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Anybody, any other questions? All right. I'm going to close it up and try to find out what this smell is that I'm smelling up in here. It is always my pleasure. Again, I want to encourage you. If during a month something happens and you have a question, write it down. We're going to have these every month. They are scheduled in an ongoing basis for the entire year. So again, you'll get used to the sessions. Come in, ask anything that you have or that you want to know. All right?
All right.
Thank you, my beloved.
Peace, brother.
All right.